What is up, my awesome people? Ace Rocks here, and today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's been bouncing around the internet for a little while now. And I just want to put my views out there, so we can better the community with what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to be talking about today is free to play games and if there's going to actually be a future for it or not. And the background gameplay, it's just some Team Fortress 2. It's a free to play game. Really awesome game. You should go play for it. I'm not the best TF2 player, so don't judge me on that. Okay. So obviously, when it comes to free to play games, there's going to be tons of pros and tons of cons. And you can go anywhere and view anybody's pros and cons. But this is my list. And my pros is, well, first off, it's free. You can never go wrong with a free game. Unless it's a really, really bad free game. But most of the actual good free to play games are actually pretty good. And you can't go wrong with a free game. And free to play games, can have a possible rising up. I mean, they're obviously rising up right now, and there's a lot of free to play games that's coming out, but it could turn into like a really, really big boom. Like big titles like now, like Call of Duty, Titanfall, Halo, they could like put out a free game for all you know. It might not be like what we have right now, but it could actually be something similar to the actual game that anybody could play, and I want to see that in the near future. And another really good pro compared to actually buying the $60 full price retail game is actually you get to pay for what you want. So if you're playing the game and there's like abilities and upgrades and stuff that you want, you can just go ahead and buy and use it. For example, if you're playing a game like Titanfall, you know that there's only so many good amount of weapons in that game that you can use to kill other people. Let's say that they come out with a free to play shooter and they release all these weapons, but there's only a couple that you want to buy. That, in my case, would be amazing, and of course, of a lot of people's cases, because you're always going to pick that one gun every time you go back to the game to play with that gun. Like, if you want a sniper, there's always one sniper you're going to go to. If you want an assault rifle, there's always that one assault rifle that you're going to go and want to play with. So instead of having all of them at one little list, you can just pick the ones that you want to use. And you could, like, if the game gets big, you can just go on YouTube, look up, hey, which gun's the best assault rifle for this game? And it's going to point it out, be like, okay, this one's a really good assault rifle, has really great damage and range. It's going to be that simple. The next one is not using the money just for the game to end. And that's more of focus towards the single player side of it, because pretty much all of the free to play games right now are all multiplayer, but there are some single player free to play games. And it's I love that because if once it ends, you didn't pay anything for it and you probably just played a pretty damn decent game. And that's a really good thing. Like a lot of the games that I play now that are single player, I wish that they would just make it free to play and have like a ton of add-ons I could buy. Like imagine if Skyrim was free to play. Like that'll never happen ever, but that would be amazing. That would be just like freaking awesome if you could sit there and play Skyrim. And if you need something, just go and buy it. So instead of spending like your entire $60 on a game, you probably spend 30 or 40. But obviously that's not going to happen because it's less revenue for them. And the next one on my pro list is you're open to other things that people don't have. And by that I mean the premium stuff for all of these games, or the stuff that you have to buy but a lot of other people won't buy. And honestly, I think the best example for that is probably World of Tanks, because that's the one like I have the most experience of buying premium and stuff. And like in World of Tanks, you can buy gold, and when you buy gold, you can buy a premium, and you can buy tanks. And the tanks, they're really good tanks, but you can still take them out. So you're not going with the like risk of paying to win. You're not doing that. And when you buy premium, it goes by days. So if you buy like one day of premium, you get like double the XP. Well, not XP. You get like double the silver and double like the money, so you can go up through the tiers faster. So it's actually worth the money to do that if you want to go through the tiers faster than you are. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is go through my con list, and this is something I mentioned before. The first one is risk of pay to win, which that is kind of a big problem. Not going to name any games, but it's kind of a big problem because you can buy something and you can just crush your other team with whatever you have. And that is completely unfair. My thing is, like, if you're gonna buy something in a game, well, if you're gonna put something out for someone to buy, at least make it fair. At least make it even for someone else that doesn't have that. You still have a possibility of going against them, so it's not a complete advantage. It still gives you an advantage, it's just not a complete reckoning over who you're going against. And another con on my list is that it's not the best market out there right now. There's not tons and tons and tons of free to play games that's out there. I mean, there is a lot of free to play games, but not that many are, that good. And that goes on to my next con, which it could be complete crap. I played a couple free to play games that are just horrible. And I mean, just downright horrible. I will never touch that game ever again in my entire life. Kind of horrible. And yeah, you do find that a lot in the free to play market. That's another bad portion of it. And last but not least on my con is the stuff that you buy in the games might be way overpriced. Like if you're playing a game and it's a shooting game and they want you to buy a gun for like $5, I sure as hell wouldn't do it. Even if it was one of the pay to win things, I still wouldn't do it because it's $5 for a weapon. And I know they have to make the money somehow, but if it was fair, like if it was worth my $5, I'd totally do it. I would totally buy that gun. But it's just, you gotta have to show me that it's worth the investment. And I guess that's what makes it really hard for the developers. And that's why you have like the pay to win stuff, and that's why you have like some crappy guns and then really good stuff. It's just, I can see how it's hard, but it's still possible. So I don't see why there's so many problems and why it's so hard to make this stuff happen. It baffles me. But moving on for that, I just want to talk like the developers. They have to make the game good first. Like the game has to be interesting enough for someone to say, "Hey, I wonder what I can buy to make my play experience a little better for this." And that's where the money can be made. And I don't think all of them have fully realized that yet, other than like a couple of them's like, "Hey, we got this gun and it's pretty cool. It's gold. You can use it." And yeah, like that's petty stuff. But like what I'm saying is like if I'm gonna play a free to play game, I want to be able to sit down and play that game for a few hours and not have to worry about buying something later on down the road just to help out my gameplay. I don't think I don't think that should be a good tactic for them to use. Like TF2, that is a great example. I can sit down and I can play this game that you're watching in the background right now for hours and hours and hours with no problem because it is just that fun. And I would have no problem buying different kinds of weapons for myself to use on TF2. It's no problem to me whatsoever. I love it. But what all of this is going to come down to is what will the future be like for free to play games? And honestly, it all depends on what the developers do for all of these games. It's rather they put out a good game first before making all of the updates and premiums and all of that crap come second. And if they actually put their time into it, and by that I mean like if they put their time into it, you're gonna put your time into it too. Cause tons of people play Dota 2 and like Team Fortress 2 and World of Tanks and don't even spend a penny in it because it's just that good of a game. And like as long as they're putting out good content for people to play, they're gonna have a good return for sales. And like I'm trying to think of everything to help out the free to play community and the developers make this stuff. Like I want them to make money, but I also want us to, have fun with the experience that we're going to be having with this. And I know it's hard. It's hard to make a free to play game and add in all that stuff and just make it possible for everybody, but it's not impossible. It's very much possible. And I just want to see it done perfectly. And that might not happen for a while, and that's probably the reason why the market's not at the best where it should be. But I'd actually really like to see it done perfectly, and I'd probably play whatever game came out like that for a while. And like you can obviously tell that it's going somewhere because the international Dota tournament thing is going on right now. Like the day I'm uploading this is I think the last day, that is going on, and like the first prize, the first place winner gets $5 million. Second place, 4.5 million. Third, 1 million, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And that is a lot of money just to play a game. And that just goes to show that like there is a big community for what we want or what everybody likes. And that's really awesome to see. Like the $5 million first prize, that's $5 million to whoever goes in first and like beats the Koreans. Not the Koreans, like the Chinese people are really freaking good at Dota. Like if you haven't watched that free to play movie that Valve made, you really need to go and watch it because it's pretty awesome, and it's really enjoyable. I watched the whole thing in full, and it's a really good movie to watch. But that's where I'm going to end my video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button while you're at it, because I make some pretty awesome videos like this all the time. So, yeah. Peace out, guys.